Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing fine and are taking care of yourselves. My name is Kanika Tandon and I am here with the video of class 8th English 2nd. Today we are going to complete the question answers and the exercise of chapter number 8. Coming on to the exercise of this chapter. First question is on page number 120. Fill in the blanks with appropriate adverbs from the box below. So question number 1 is I speak very good Tamil, but my Malayalam is a little weak. Did you attend Zakir Hussein's tabla recital? It was absolutely amazing. You should have come for the picnic with us. It was just fantastic. The dessert you make was for the party on Thursday was amazingly good. I have been going for high tea they organize for the past 20 years. It is an extremely interesting affair. Dad is going to England for a week on work. It will be terribly cold there. We need to help him pack so that he is completely well guarded. Coming on to the next page. Choose the best option to complete the sentence. So if you heat water to 10 degrees Celsius, it boils. If the weather is good tomorrow, we will go on a picnic. Coming on to the next page. If I were the captain, I would make good use of the resources we have. If they had helped us, we would have finished the work faster. If there was no wars, we would live in peace. You get respect. If you give respect, we will attend the function. If he performs, she would have made it to the team if she had practiced. Coming on to the next one. Complete these sentences. If we exercise regularly, we will stay fit. If we plant more trees, it will help the environment. If you want to read, we will go to the library. If dreams came true, then it would have been lovely. Coming on to the next page. I would have brought a present if I had known it was your birthday. We will not hurt anyone if we speak kindly. With this, the exercise is over. Let us come on to the question answers. Coming on to the in-text question of this chapter, that is on page number 112. Question number 1 is, why did Watson wants Holmes to be treated by Dr. Enstree? Dr. Watson wanted his friend Holmes to be treated by Dr. Enstree because he was greatest living doctor for tropical diseases. Next is, why did Holmes lock the door? Holmes locked the door because he did not want Watson to go and fetch Dr. Enstree. Coming on to page number 114. Question is, do you think Mr. Holmes was friendly with Mr. Smith? Give a reason for your answer. So no, Sherlock was not friendly with Mr. Smith because Mr. Smith held a grudge against Holmes for having raised suspicions on foul play against him in the death of his nephew. Coming on to the next page. Question is, how does Mr. Smith react when Watson enters? What causes a change in his manner? So Mr. Smith flatly refuses to see Watson until Watson mentioned Holmes' name to him and also that Holmes was very ill. This is what changes Mr. Smith's manner towards Watson. Next question is on page number 116. What do you understand by semi-delirious condition? So semi-delirious condition refers to a state wherein the person suffering from it is unable to talk clearly because of his illness. Page number 117. Question is, how had Culverton Smith planned to kill Holmes? So Culverton had sent Holmes an ivory box which contained a spring that drew box and infected you. If you opened the box, this is how he had planned to kill Holmes. Next, why do you think Holmes was whispering? So Holmes' voice had dropped to a whisper because he had now been able to extract proof of Culverton Smith's involvement in his nephew's death and also his plan to kill Holmes. This is the end of index questions. Coming on to the quick answers, that is on page number 118. Question is, describe the sad spectacle seen by Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson saw that his friend Sherlock Holmes was in a sorry state, and his eyes were bright with fear, and his voice was affected, so much so that he was croaking. Question number B is, what did Holmes tell Watson he was suffering from? So Holmes told Watson that he was suffering from a disease that has its origins in Sumatra, and that it was deadly and horribly contagious. Question number C. Who did Holmes ask Watson to fetch? What reason did Holmes give Watson for preferring that person over the others? So Holmes asked Watson to fetch a man by the name of Culverton Smith, because though this man was not a doctor, he had been a planter in Sumatra who knew much about his ailment. Next is, what did Watson observe about Smith's behavior when he told Smith about Holmes? So, on informing Smith about Holmes, Dr. Watson observed Smith's anger had passed, and when he told him that Sherlock needed help, Watson observed a malicious smile appearing on his face. Coming on to the E1, what happened to Victor Savage? So Victor Savage had succumbed to an unknown illness. He had been deliberately infected by Mr. Culverton Smith, his uncle. Coming on to the reference to context questions. Second question is, admirable Watson, admirable. Now you must disappear from the scene. This was the extract. Question number 1 is, where did Holmes ask Watson to hide himself? So Holmes asked Watson to hide himself behind the head of his bed. Question number B, who was Holmes waiting for? So Holmes was waiting for Mr. Culverton Smith. What did Holmes tell Watson to do while hiding? Holmes asked Watson not to budge from his hiding place and also to listen to Smith with open ears. He wished to trap Mr. Smith into admitting his involvement in murdering his nephew, as well as to his attempt to murder Holmes. Watson was to serve as a witness. Question number 3. It was no joke. It was I who sent it, who asked you to cross my path. If you had left me alone, I would have not hurt you. Question number A is, who said this and to whom? So Mr. Culverton Smith said this to Sherlock Holmes. Question number B, what was the joke that speaker is referring to? So the speaker was referring to a small ivory box which Holmes had received. It contained a sharp spring that sprang up whenever the box was opened. The speaker was referring to his box and the spring as the joke. C, what does the speaker mean by cross my path? Sherlock Holmes had suspected Mr. Smith of being guilty of foul play in the death of his nephew, Victor Savage. Naturally, Smith had not wished Sherlock Holmes' interference in this matter and had asked him to steer clear, but Holmes had not done so. Hence, Mr. Smith set out to remove the detective from his path. Question number 4. The best way of successfully acting a part is to be it, said Holmes. First question is, what part did Holmes play? So Holmes played a part of a very sick adversary dying from a deadly and contagious disease from Sumatra. What did Holmes do to play it well? Holmes had not eaten or drunk anything in 3 days in order to play the part well. Question number C, why did Holmes play that part? Holmes was convinced that Culverton Smith had murdered his nephew, Victor Savage, but he had no evidence to prove his conviction. He knew he had no other option but to make Smith admit to it, and hence played this part. Coming on to the read, reflect and write. Question number 5 is, in your opinion, why did Holmes keep his plan a secret from Watson? Holmes kept his plan a secret from Watson because he knew that Watson had to sound convincing when he approached Smith informing him of Holmes' illness. Had Watson not being convinced that Holmes was seriously ill, he would have not been able to convince Smith, who himself was a very shrewd criminal. Sixth, describe the part that Watson played in the Holmes plot. What does this say about Watson's character and his attitude towards his friend Holmes? Watson plays perhaps the most important part in Holmes' plot. Holmes entrusted him with the most important duty of bringing the criminal of him, without which solving the mystery would not have been possible. Thus, this thus very clearly shows that Watson was very loyal towards his friends, and even though he often questioned Holmes' activities, nevertheless abided Holmes' convictions. Question number 7. What signal did Holmes have Smith give? Who was the signal meant for? Describe what happened after the signal was given. So the Holmes asked Smith to turn up the gas, which acted as a signal. The signal was meant for Inspector Morton, who had been waiting for the signal. A few moments later, Inspector Morton came inside Holmes' room and arrested Culverton Smith on charges of murdering his nephew. What do you think is Holmes' attitude to life? What do you learn from it? So Holmes believes in taking matters in his own hand and does not wait for luck to come and knocking on his door. When he realized that he had no evidence to prove Smith guilty, he made the criminal confess his own guilt so that he could be arrested. The important lessons that one can learn from Holmes' attitude to life are his dedication to his aim and his ability to bring the criminal around to confessing his own crime without going beyond the law. Question number 9, which is an extended writing, list all the things that could be used as evidence in the trial of the murder of Victor Savage. Write in about 300 to 350 words a description of Holmes' plan of catching Smith red-handed. So basically in this question we have to write the summary of this whole chapter. So this you can use as a example, but you have to do it yourself. You have to write the whole summary with your own words, so that it is easy for us to understand that you have understood the chapter. With this chapter is over, and I hope that you have all understood it. I request all of you to please complete this work in your notebook and get it checked in next parents meeting, whenever it is. I'll see you all in my next video with chapter number 9, that is the shoemaker. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.